not trying to call nobody out, but well, hello professionals. I am Dr. Burks and I am the Chief Human Resources Officer of the Professional Consultancy. I am so happy to be before you today, but I will not be before you long. I wanted to do, and I always say I wanted to do a different type of video, but this one is very, very personal. So normally I give you advice on many different things that are going on in my world and in the world of business holistically. But today I wanted to give you a look into a very traumatic experience I experienced in the earlier years of my profession. So if you all recall me saying before that I wanted to go to school to be a nurse and how that did not work out for me, hence me being an HR professional, then I can take you back just a little bit. Let's go back to, let's say, circa 2009, okay? So I had the worst job interview I have ever had in my life. I probably shouldn't say the worst, but it was one of the most traumatizing, and it also gave me a look at how cutthroat corporate America could be and how unprofessional people can be. You would anticipate that these people being in these professional positions would have a little more business acumen, but that doesn't mean that they do. So let's get started. So I mentioned, sorry if I keep saying so, but I mentioned that I had a child young, and trying to be a responsible parent, trying to just do what I should do as a mother, I decided that I wanted to still pursue my field in nursing. I was six months pregnant, and there was this home care organization that I chose to pursue. I had heard really good things about it. I had seen it everywhere. And so I said, well, I'll go and apply. I applied, and this is back in the day when you were still doing paper applications. There was no apply online, virtual interviews. It was the apply in person, interview in person from beginning to end. So I actually ended up going in. Mind you, I'm 6 months pregnant. I have all my scrubs, very visibly pregnant. And when I got to the actual interview portion, there was a gentleman who interviewed me. And while we were talking, he kept looking down at my belly. And he said, so I'm just a little concerned because, right there, he pointed to my stomach. And he said that his concern was that I would not be able to do the job, or I would need maternity leave soon, and he wanted someone who could be in the client's house long-term. Huge red flag, but I was young. I didn't know any better. I didn't know how illegal that was. Lesson learned now, and this is one of the things that I teach to organizations, how that is so inappropriate. Now, I was devastated, of course, very ashamed. It made me feel bad because I was expecting, and I shouldn't have, and that's a whole nother conversation with that culture. But so I left and I was defeated. In that defeat, I remember going home and just Googling randomly, well, not randomly, but I remember going home and just Googling, like, is this illegal? Like, what is this? Is this a thing? What organizations hire pregnant women? And I know it sounds so asinine present day that was even a conversation that I had to have with myself, but I did. As I got on Google, I ended up coming across a law with the EEOC, I apologize, and it was the Pregnancy Discrimination Act of 1978. And so in short, and I'll insert it right here, but in short, the law says that you cannot discriminate or deny a pregnant woman on the basis of her being pregnant. So basically, what that gentleman did in that interview was illegal. He did not get into my experience. He did not get into my goals, etc., the things that you typically hear during a job interview. Instead, he had already determined that he did not want to hire me because I was pregnant. That was it. He did not know how far along I was. he didn't even know for a fact I was pregnant. And professionals, let me say this specifically. Come on, my interviewers. Now see, it does not matter if a woman walks in and it looks like she is in preterm labor. You cannot ask a woman if she is pregnant. You cannot deny a woman employment because she is pregnant. That is so illegal and so morally wrong and unprofessional. I cannot emphasize that. Let me give you another example. So when I was in a position and one of my job responsibilities was recruitment. And in this position, I was responsible for recruiting for multiple different locations in different states within the regions that I supported. And so the industry that I worked in was male dominant, and I was excited when I had a female candidate who was interested, because I felt like this is like a sunflower in a field of weeds. And so I was really excited about bringing her to the organization, because I felt like this woman is very experienced, and I thought it would be an excellent opportunity to just show them, give them something new, give a new face for that location. It was very difficult to fill these positions. There weren't a lot of qualified candidates, right? And so I reached out to the hiring manager. I'm telling him everything, did not speak on gender, because it really doesn't matter. Send the employee or the candidate to the interview, reach out to the hiring manager. I'm excited, and I'm just like, okay, how did it go? How did you like her? And he didn't like her and wanted to move forward with the lesser qualified candidate. Ask me why, Dr. Burks. Okay, well, let me tell you. So the reason why he did not want to move forward with this candidate is because she was a woman. And so I reached back out to the candidate, and I just, said, just keep us in mind if you know anyone who may be interested, the typical, because I still want you to walk away and have a positive perception of the organization. So one of the things that this candidate told me was that the hiring manager specifically asked her if she planned on having a baby within the next 6 months. And when I say, if you could have seen me in person, my mouth about hit the floor. And the problem was, professionals, he didn't see anything wrong with it. So in his business mind, well, I don't want to hire someone if they plan on, having a child, and he's forward planning or succession planning in his mind about, well, I don't want to hire someone and then they're going to have a baby and it's a waste of time investing, and then they're going to need to be out of work and blah, 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 blah. And for me, that's inappropriate, because you mean to tell me you would turn down a candidate because of what they plan on doing with their reproductive system? And the sad part is, yes, he was, and he did. And so from a legal perspective, I'm trying to help clean this up and mitigate and, see if there's other opportunities that I can align them with, help her with her resume, things like that. And I shouldn't have had to do that, because she was already a solid candidate. And I couldn't go back and say, well, you know what, let me talk to him and let him know that what he did was illegal, and then I'll get back to you, right? So it's tacky for obvious reasons. It's very tacky. But then who wants to feel like I'm going to be disqualified? Like, okay, I'm a newlywed. My husband and I, or my wife and I, plan on having a baby within the next few years, and I have to worry about a job turning me down because of how I plan on planning my family. It's inappropriate. And so I can only imagine that I'm not the only person who has had these types of experiences, and it's disheartening because it's not fair and it's disrespectful and it's none of your business, first of all. But aside from that, that's insinuating that a person isn't as capable of performing their job just because they are with child. And so because of that, aside from the discrimination component of it, another thing that I want to make you aware of, it is called the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act. And what this is so we know about the ADA. This one is a little more specific, as it grants women accommodations for pregnancy-related ailments. So for example, let's say you're pregnant, right? And you have extreme swelling when you stand on your feet for a certain amount of time. So you reach out to your doctor sends a accommodation request saying that you need to be able to sit at least 15 minutes every hour because your feet are swelling or your legs are swelling because you are pregnant. You would be able to go to your employer, submit this request. We would do the same interactive process as any other accommodation, and then we would give you the opportunity to say, hey, we want you to be able to work. We want to accommodate you, so this is what we can do to make it suitable for you to work. Is it something that the business can sustain? Yes? Okay, so let's move forward with the accommodation. We have to get out of the mindset that we are making pregnant women feel or look as though they are crippled and discourage them from wanting to expand their families because of something that is so natural. We are literally here to procreate and to, continue legacies, etc., etc. Like, you get what I mean, professionals. But it is so inappropriate to make someone feel bad or to make them feel like they are less qualified for a position because they are pregnant. And if I can go back to the Erica pre-Dr. Burks in 2009, I would encourage her and just remind her that don't worry, even though this is an unideal set of circumstances, you are going to be a part of helping to make a change and educate people and empower people to understand that being pregnant is a temporary state. I guess I should say it's a temporary state, and that does not make you any less qualified. There are pregnant women who are doing their jobs better than people, and men sometimes, who are not pregnant. So who are we to determine somebody's qualifications based on something that they'll be dealing with for max 9 months, 10 months, and then they're good to go? There's a reason why FMLA exists for maternity leave. There's a reason why a lot of companies and countries will provide paid maternity leave. Like, the idea is for you to be able to recover and be with your baby and give you that time, or paternity leave, give you that time so that you may be able to return back to work and operate fully in full capacity. So imagine turning somebody down because they're 6 months pregnant, knowing within 3 months you'll be giving birth to this child and you missed out on an excellent employee. So what I will leave you with today is, if you encounter a company that does this, one, report it to the EEOC immediately. If possible, contact their human resources department in any form of compliance that you can. File an EEO complaint, because it is not right, and only when you take action do you get results. Because even though it may not have changed my experience, hopefully in advocating and education, I can help change the experiences of others. So professionals, if you are family planning or if you are currently pregnant, pursue that opportunity. Unless it is something that you physically cannot do and that would present harm to you or your unborn child, okay, 100% makes sense. If you don't feel you can fulfill the duties of that job because of the state and your current state, and it will cause harm, then I would say consider that. Look at the job description. Look at the physical requirements. How much agility will it require you to put forth? And if you can do it, please don't let anything stop you. And if you get turned down from a job because of those things, they weren't for you anyway. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Like I said, this is really a personal experience-based conversation. So the scripture, of course, you're going to get scripture today. So the scripture that I will leave you with today is John 7:24. And this is the English Standard Version. And it says, "Do not judge by appearance, but judge with right judgment." I think that's very self-explanatory. But don't judge a book by its cover. Don't judge a book by its pregnancy or disability or things that are external, but give someone the opportunity and look at them as a person. And I think once you do that, you will realize someone's capability is so beyond their physical appearance And it's not fair to them or to you or to your team of people and the value that they can add and how that can benefit your team by making a uninformed or uneducated decision. And then you're putting the livelihood of your organization at risk by doing so. Professionals, I really hope that this video offered a lot of insight. I would love to continue the discussion, and I'm really interested in knowing, have you had a similar experience? Is this something that you can share? Please share this video. Please like the video. The more engagement we have, the more people we can share this with and hopefully help. Please go on the EEOC's website and do more research. I will make sure that the links to the website are linked below. Be encouraged more than anything. Understand that we are all here to help improve business acumen, professionalism, and then hopefully the entire work-life experience. So with that being said, please always be safe and remember to be